I think I've always been a guy that swings for the fences, you know? It's like, go big or go home, right?
The real goal of going to SEMA is to win Battle of the Builders.
My biggest concern with getting these cars done for SEMA is time. Like, time.
Right now, with the deadline we have of being to SEMA in November is always in the back of my head, and I think it's in the back head of everyone that's around us.
We're hitting home runs, we ain't hitting singles here.
Within the construct of SEMA is a very important competition called Battle of the Builders. It's been going on now, I think, for about 8 or 10 years. I was honored to host the first couple seasons of Battle of the Builders. And so I've been there since the inception of the competition, and I've seen the quality of the participants get better and better every year.
I dreamt about having this type of opportunity and being able to go forward with this type of group of people. And, you know, I got a lot riding on this. I mean, this is a life opportunity. So I got to do everything in my power to make sure that I can succeed at this.
What's happening?
Man.
So, ready to check this thing out?
What the f is this thing?
So they just came in this morning. So these are the motors that we got from DSR. So this is that serial number 1. I mean, these things are absolutely insane. I mean, just by looking at it, you know, 1,500 horsepower.
They only made 2 of them. They're licensed by Dodge. The Chargers are also licensed by Dodge. So really, these are numbers matching 1970 carbon 1,500 horsepower Chargers. So they're number 1 and number 2. You're not like, I don't know if it can get much cooler than that.
As much as we got going on with the Chevelle, I mean, this should make the process a little bit more seamless on the Chargers.
Yeah, this thing's a beast, dude. Billet valve covers just from them.
Right.
SN01. If I had to choose between speed or style, I mean, a little bit of both, I guess, you know? If you're in something really stylish, you're gonna have people trying to race you all the time, right? So if you got nothing, it's kind of a little whack. I don't claim to be like a crazy race car driver to be like speed, because I'll wad it up into a tree, you know?
The Finale Speed body should be here this week, and that's the game plan. So as soon as that car gets here, we'll start, you know, bolting this up, see how everything fits. I mean, we all know nothing's bolt on, as they say. So, but yeah, that's the plan of attack for this week, and you know, we'll go from there.
So the core support on a car is located in front of the engine. That's where your radiator mounts, your front fenders mount, and also in our case, our front headlight and grille assembly.
Attempting to assemble the intercooler, put the end tanks on the cores, and tack it all together. It's pretty critical because this intercooler is also part of the core support. So there's a lot of things that bolt off of it and are mounted off of it. So trying to get all this thing floating, it's all on different angles. Just always a fun time trying to do stuff like this.
We are using this dual purpose, you know, style, and it's really starting to catch on here. And I think it's starting to turn into a Blazing Rods thing where it's like, yeah, you have one function, like its sole purpose is this function, but it has 5 other functions in it and in the same part.
Problem we're running into is the fixtures we got. Never really had these problems, but something's a little wonky with them today. They're not really wanting to line up. The bends are a little bit off, folds are a little bit off, so that makes this process a lot more difficult. Yeah, when everything's designed in the computer, and you have everything billet, it's very critical when it comes to the fabrication that it is as close as you could get it to being in the computer.
We don't necessarily have a core support. The car is just mounted the whole front end off of 2 uprights, billet uprights, and then the air-to-water intercooler, bolting those 2 uprights together, and those uprights are bolted to the frame rails, right? So when it's all bolted together, it's a core support. Very tricky, intricate piece. If anything's slightly off in the bracket, it's slightly off on the body line now. So it has to be dead nuts.
Do they go inside?
Yeah. It's hard to tell which way it needs to go. It's got to go down, I think. Since being here at Blazing Rods and like being able to do all this, it's really like brought me up to we're really embracing technology now. So I don't want to make stuff by hand all the time anymore. I'd rather figure out how to get it done with a machine on the computer, and then have to do my little part of actually fitting it or mounting it on the car. Or, wait. Yeah.
Wow, look at that. You're not down to let go.
I'm already let
Yeah, let go. It's holding. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
3D prints.
I thought this was a lot more flimsy, but I think it was how we had it mounted on here before.
This car is progressing crazy overnight. I go to the shop the next day and I'm like, wow, we have a full car. And then the next day I'm go, where's everything on the car? It's crazy to see that so much test fitting has to go in. And to make sure that that car is perfect, we will put it together and pull it apart multiple times.
Well, the intercooler fits. So this is like the whole front of the car. This is what you see, besides the bumper. This is gonna hold the whole front grille, everything, all these ducts. So I guess we're off to a good start with this.
I think I got my work ethic from driving a tow truck. Used to probably put in about 100 hours a week. Now, there was no calling in sick. You were sick, you went to work. There was only enough guys so that you could make enough money to survive back then. And, we had a great group and, I did it for 10 straight years. And I think that's where my work ethic came from. And where I'm at today is because of what I did.
I always pictured in my head, having some kind of, rear diffuser in this thing, like look in the back of a GT car, when you look back over, you see just a big freaking.
Yeah, this thing's got to be like aero dominant in a way, right? Like you could tell we thought of like aerodynamics. You could definitely get the cues, and that's all those cars, right? I think it would be nuts to make that look decent on a Chevelle. Would be kind of hard.
So like if let's just say we're spitballing here, right? The back of the car, I would like to do a diffuser back there, right? But like if we did that, that gets in the way of obviously of where's fuel cell go. From previous in my career, building stuff one off by hand, and now having a 3D designer and 3D printers now, it's like I want to see how far we can take this. I want to push the limits. I want to see how crazy, how in depth we can get. What do you think? What do you think's a good plan of action on this?
I mean, dude, Billet would be insane, right? I'm sure you could already probably envision something in your head of
The whole back of the car billet?
yeah, that'd be nuts. That'd be insane.
Is that possible? That's a huge chunk of billet.
I mean, anything's possible. What Blazing Rods allows me to do is honestly just run like free with whatever we come up with. That's very hard to have in a shop. A lot of it is, how much profit can we extract from, this client? But we're looking at the long term of things, which allows us to just absolutely run wild, because at the end of the day, it's like, sure, I'll pay $3 million for that, right? So.
In my head, thinking about it, right? Let's just call it, let's call it 40 inches by
Yeah. Bro,
20 or
how do you even
24
put that
inches.
in a
Let's just say
machine,
that you have to start with, right?
Yeah.
Bro, that's gonna be like 2,000, almost 2,000 pounds if you think about it.
Oh, dude, probably
material.
more. Yeah, who knows, dude, right? I'm sure it's possible. Definitely think it's possible. I think it would be absolutely insane, and that would be probably one of like the jewel pieces on the car if we did that route.
To the outside world, it might look like we're all losing our mind here, right? Like coming up with these crazy ideas and stuff that we haven't seen, hasn't been done before, and let alone having only a certain amount of time to do it. but we only have one shot and only one first impression.
I think it'd be really fun. I think it'd be really fun to draw up and we could just bounce our ideas off of it. And if we do accomplish that though, dude, that would be,
I mean,
one
especially
of the most exciting things I've ever done, dude.
yeah, I mean, especially since we're gonna, we're going for the Battle of the Builders on this car. I mean, I personally never seen that done.
Yeah.
I've never seen a billet fuel cell diffuser all in one. I've never seen it.
No.
The coolest thing about these Chargers is they're matching numbers. It matches motor to chassis to body.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going for a ride. All right, let's crank the other way.
You got turn.
You can't get that nowadays, especially in classic cars. The ability to find a matching number, everything on a classic car nowadays is almost impossible unless you found something that's been in your family for years.
I've never worked on a complete carbon fiber car. They're pretty new in the whole like custom car world. Everyone likes carbon fiber. There's a reason that it's so prevalent in like aftermarket and custom cars. But yeah, to take one of the coolest muscle cars ever and then make it out of carbon fiber is really something.
I mean, to be honest with you guys, I'm not a fan of running this stock core support, these inner fender wells.
Yeah.
Just to me, like even the firewall, it's way too plain.
It's not doing us justice.
Yeah, especially for what these motors are and what these cars are.
Yeah. We got billet control arms and
Yeah.
stamped steel inner fenders.
Yeah, I just doesn't, it doesn't fit the flow. So I knew the Charger was showing up raw, but I mean, man, it is super raw, right? It needs a lot of work, a lot more than I was anticipating, to be frank.
It has none of our flair to it, for sure. If we're trying to add flair to a car, I mean, yeah, the whole idea was add our flair to this car. It obviously needs our
Yeah,
flair.
we got to change a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I say we blow these out, obviously, right?
Yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah.
I mean, we could scan up the front. You can get I'm pretty sure you can knock something out super quick, We'll take that firewall out. We'll have Justin mock something up in here. I think it'd be super dope if we got rid of like sheet metal inner fender wells like this. Car's carbon, right? So we can have Justin make a structure in here, right? Have these carbon, put the radiator in, and have him make a piece here that covers all this, so get rid of this big open area, right? And then we can get all that made in carbon.
Yeah.
And have the whole engine bay carbon.
I mean, this is all a good idea and stuff, but you got to remember when we started making things out of carbon, it gets expensive. So what's our price and time on that kind of stuff?
Well, we can spend 3 weeks, 4 weeks trying to make what's here look nice.
Yeah.
Or we can just simply take all this out, which take probably a few hours. Waylon can scan all this up, scan the front, make a core support for it.
You cannot fix carbon and make it look like it was normal anymore. It's really cool, but it definitely turns things up a notch when it comes to, being precise and cautious, because you only get it one shot. They say measure twice, cut once. Like this car's like measure 48,000 times, and then like think about it before you even think,
Cool. All right, let's
I think we just get going on that. for
let's
sure.
shake this thing down and go from there.
Yeah.
Blazing Rods impresses me in a few different ways. First of all, the size of their crew. It's really only 4 or 5 guys who are building these cars. And so in order to do that, you have to work together efficiently, you have to trust one another, and you also have to believe in the ideas that your teammates have. Their relatively young age belies their experience with technology, such as the CAD and the CNC machines and the 3D printing. They seem to really have a grip on getting the most out of technology.
Basically, the whole bottom of this car is flat bottomed, and then that's going to go to our billet diffuser fuel tank that's in the back. Honestly, I think it's probably like the coolest part on this car.
Hey, Riccardo, you got a sec?
Yeah. So
So I was outside talking to Waylon, and he like was talking about this crazy fuel cell. Can you explain it to me a little bit? Because it sounds a little crazy and pricey.
we do have to start with a huge chunk of billet. So, I mean, we're talking something that's probably going to be 1,800 to 2,000 pounds just to start.
Okay.
So, you know, because we have to machine it all down and everything like that.
Budget is, every car has a budget, no matter what. It's important to keep a budget, because if you ran a blank check car, how are you ever going to make a profit on a car?
Normal day-to-day stuff, I'd be like, yeah, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to do here and what we're trying to accomplish, you know, especially if we want to go up, you know, for Battle of the Builders and we want to be the best and have the best stuff. I mean, the car in itself is already crazy. So
Is this fuel cell even possible? Like, looking at it is one idea, but getting it done, is it even?
yeah, definitely.
I mean, just talking numbers, like crazy, just throwing it out, like even cutting it's going to be expensive, right? Like that's probably a lot. Like, who should we even have cut it? Because that's even more.
I mean, we can call Robert. Ask Robert.
That's not a problem. Obviously, he can cut it. I'll give him a call.
So my name is Robert Jones, and the name of the business is Compression Forged Wheels. Blades and rods, it's like now we're starting to get into all kinds of different parts of the car, which like the whole team's excited about.
I just thinking money-wise here, like,
Yeah, I think Robert's machine's big enough to cut it.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, just give him a call. I'll get the exact dimensions from Waylon, so that way you can give them to Robert, and then we can
Get a quote.
get a
kinda
quote on
price
the
it out.
material,
Yeah.
and then see what what Robert's going to quote us to cut that out. I mean, that's the whole back of the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. Well, obviously, we got to look at the numbers. I'll get the quotes, and I'll talk to Robert, and we'll see how it goes.
Cool. I appreciate Scotty keeping up with the budgets and making sure that everything's on track. But I just really need Scotty to trust me and my vision on what we're doing here, because at the end of the day, it's my neck on the line.
With designing the core support on the Chargers, we wanted to change it up from the original like 70s style grille and the, you know how the 70s look. We wanted to do something a little different.
3D printing is starting to become more of a norm in the automotive industry. There is guys that do have the old school way of doing things, and they're the ones sitting there kind of going like, well, that's not hand built, all you guys in your damn computers, but at the end of the day, that's where the industry is going. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was stuck in that time too. You want to make everything by hand. It's just not feasible anymore. Let's say it takes you 35 minutes. With technology, you literally go on the computer, draw it in 3 minutes, put it on the plasma table, cuts it out in a minute, and you just saved yourself, 25 minutes of your time. So at the end of the day, like they say, time is money.
Obviously, it's a weird spline shape. This is probably not perfectly straight since it's a carbon part, but I could now, with a reverse engineering program, they call them, extract data off of it, and I could get this shape around the headlights, that weird slot that's cut off on the top right here, in probably, 5 seconds. And then from that, I'll just draw, a straight line here, get that weird spline. They're probably gonna be different on both sides. To the headlight, I could put a base plane on the headlight, and then just literally loft it to the headlight and thicken that, and your part's pretty much done.
We all been super excited to see what Justin's been working on. I mean, he's had the bucks, he's sending us photos, stuff like that. He's actually headed down with some parts to fit on the car, and I'm just super stoked. It's definitely gonna be a good day.
Working with metal is definitely sort of like a dying craft. There's a lot of interest. Everyone wants to say they can do it, and then, I don't know, just this generation, there's not a lot of work ethic, and there's not enough attention span to be able to just sit there and just learn something and really put your mind to it and just get the finesse that's needed to like produce really cool things.
We're just cutting up the fender a little bit. So Justin's gonna start laying on the wide body. We got new pop fenders just so it's a cleaner transition for him. Yeah, we're gonna see how it looks.
Is the front hanging down all crazy? It is.
Is it? Not really.
Oh, close that again? Oh yeah, we gotta go way up and forward.
I think we gotta loosen this one up.
Yeah. All right, what the hell's going on?
Try close it.
Still
I think it's the front for some reason. There's a lot of, a lot of doubts that I've had with myself, and going forward on this, and because sometimes you feel like things are too good to be true, but you wake up and it is true. It is happening. You're in it. You're living it. And you just got to make sure every day that you push forward and make sure that you don't let it slip by you and just stay on task.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think we're just
Can you pop that jack stand back?
Tad.
longer than the jack stand. I'll hold the fender.
Yeah.
Like back there, like that.
I got the top of the fender.
Yeah, you're cool there. Now we're hitting the valance. Having my shop 4 hours away from Blazing Rods definitely adds some hours to the day sometimes, or that work week is definitely a 7-day work week versus 5 or 6. It's if you get up at 3 in the morning, it's only 2.5 hours. It's not your first choice, but it's just something that has to happen on the project. So
I think you need to drill it like right here.
You think?
That's his X-ray vision right there.
Yeah.
go for it. Dude.
It's his X-ray vision.
Go ahead, you're good. Go ahead, quick. I'm done for the day. After that, you're bound to screw something up. It's like deceiving. I don't know that I like. I don't like that. Dips. All right. Like one way you look at it, like when I look at it right here, it looks bitchin'. But like when I get here, it goes down, right?
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Like you said, from here, it follows the body.
Yeah, there's some. That's what I was fighting when it was laying down. I'm like, man, something doesn't look right. And then it's like, well, you're gonna see it that way.
But then but I feel like if you had it, let's just say the line was here, right?
Yeah. We're dealing with just a compound shape change. So there's gonna be some weirdness. How can you look at it here? It looks proper to me.
We're kind of looking down the body line, and it has this weird like dip in the body line. When you lay the fender on its side and you look down it, the line is straight. And Justin was saying even on the Buck, the line looks straight. But when you put it on the car, it has like this weird dive in it.
The head-on looks correct.
How does the down body look?
It looks good because you can't ever get past.
But like from right here, like you see,
and then right here, this is a bad spot, right? Like that almost 3/4 view.
So Justin had these Bucks for about 2 months now, right? And if we have to go back and rework body lines, it's like, are we going backwards now?
Like, yeah, if you put it on the side and you drew a plane through it,
It's straight,
it's gonna be horizontal. Like right now, it's not, but if you took now and we drew a plane through that, like through the CAD file, that's gonna have an upward arc. But visually, it looks correct.
So if we need to start redoing work, I feel like that's gonna backset us, right? We only have so much time to do this. So are things like this gonna take us out of the race to make it to SEMA?
I mean, I think you have to go with the visual proper, right?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get that 3/4 look and you're gonna get this look. That's what everyone's gonna look at that.
This line, it's straight, right? But from certain angles, it dips. but if you look at it from the front, it looks okay. If you look at it from down the line, it looks okay, but if you look at it from 3/4, it dips right here.
Yeah.
So he wants to move the line.
How the hell do you do that?
That's what I said. There's always that what if, you know, you always got to think about that. Like, what if something doesn't pan out the way it's supposed to? Is this just all in the trash and we got to think of a plan B? Because I don't have one. He said it's easy, and I'm like, how?
If we had to go the other way, it would suck because I'd have to totally remake one of the sides. But it's very noticeable there, and it's super noticeable.
Yeah,
if
from
you're,
the front, it looks like it's doing
like
this.
here, you're like, what the happened?
We wanted to just have, I mean, obviously a fuel cell, but we didn't really want to be like basic with the fuel cell. And we're like, what could we do, right? So Porsche, you know, back in the days, they used to use like their fuel cell as like a structural member of the whole rear suspension, which sounds insane, you know, because if that thing cracks, it's a wrap. So we kind of wanted to like copy something kind of like that, you know? So instead of just having the fuel cell, it's like a multi-purpose fuel cell, right? So like everything on this car is something, it's like dual purpose, you know, and that's what makes like something super insane to me, at least.
Riccardo rolls up to me and he goes, we're gonna build a gas tank out of Billet. I'm like, well, that's crazy enough alone. He goes, and it's gonna be the diffuser. I go, what the did you just say to me? Like, how is that gonna work? Like, aren't we afraid like it can hit something, blow up? He's like, no, we designed it. I'm like, hey, what's up, Robert?
Hey, are you sitting down?
Yeah, I'm sitting down. Is this one gonna hurt?
Oh, it's gonna hurt.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
Okay, so the material alone for 40 by 40 by 20,
Okay.
you're looking at $21,000 for just the aluminum, 6061,
Okay.
and the shipping on that is gonna run you about $6,000.
Okay. And how much would you charge to cut it? Because it's us, obviously.
Okay, so I looked at the model. Man, yes, it's a doozy. So,
Yeah.
So on something like this, normally I'd be at about over, man, at least probably around $25,000.
Jesus. All right.
But you know me, man. I take care of you guys.
Yeah.
Man. You guys take care of me. I take care of you. So I'll probably do for like half price, like right around $12,000.
Okay.
You know, and I'll just let the machine run overnight. This one looks like it'll be in there for at least 5-6 days.
Okay.
But yeah, just let me know if you guys want to do it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I got to talk to Riccardo, get all the numbers crunched, and make sure it sounds about right, but then I can give you a call and we'll go from there.
Sounds good, man.
All right.
Yeah, just let me know. We'll get on it.
All right, Robert. I will talk to you later. Thank you. I guess we're just going to have to make it work.
With building a car, it's a huge risk because you rely on a ton of different people. It's not like Riccardo's the engineer, the architect, the engine builder, the painter, the body guy. He's not. He's one guy. And Scotty's only one guy, and Waylon's only one guy, and Spencer's only one guy. So we got the great crew, but now you got to rely on people giving us parts and all these other different things. So that's kind of where you land with that.
So this year's SEMA is really important, very stressful, because this is our like make it or break it thing, you know? I've been talking the world about what we're doing, and like if we don't have the car done, we just look ridiculous.
So we got 9 months until SEMA, but we have a ton of work to do between now and then.
To all the naysayers, I guess, that'll be talking shit on what we're doing down here, you just gotta embrace it. You just don't be scared of the future.
The goal for this year for the team is honestly to win Battle of the Builders. We want to show that a young group like us can build a car that can win in the eyes of everyone at one of the biggest shows in the industry in a year.